Thanks for joining us on Coast to Coast Pest Talk.
Hey guys, thanks so much for tuning in to Coast Pest Talk. I'm your host, Gabe with Pest Patrol, joined here by your other host, Andy Sinevsky with Primatech Pest Management up in Syracuse, New York. We've got a special episode today for you. We are joined by Joseph Nguyen with Habitat Pest Solutions in Ramsey, Minnesota. Like Dave Ramsey. Is that where Dave Ramsey lives?
I don't think he does.
We'll have to ask him. I don't know. But
I thought
Ramsey,
he was in like Atlanta or something. Isn't he down south? Dave Ramsey?
Somebody Google it. Joseph, wherever you are, you can tell us if Dave Ramsey lives in Minnesota with you.
I'm
Hey,
sure
there he is.
Dave Ramsey there, but I'm not sure if it's the Dave Ramsey you're referring to. So. But I'm sure there's Dave. So, love me, guys.
Oh, man.
Awesome.
Well, great to have you on, man. How are you doing?
Good. Yeah, just a busy day, but glad to be here. Appreciate you guys.
Okay, so tell us about the origins of this sucker. Like, how did you get started with this and why?
Oh, man. So, I mean, I love pest control. I just embody pest control, I feel like. I just finally found a career after a long time of doing weird, eclectic jobs that I just found passion for, you know? So Habitat Pest Solutions was initially just an idea years back when I was teching, you know, designed the logo on a scratch sheet of paper, which turned into our logo today. And that's history in a gist, I guess.
Yeah, so you started as a technician for some other companies, and then kind of branched out onto your own. How was that? What was the impetus that brought you to be like, hey, I'm going to do this. I can do this on my own?
I don't know. It's just like a culmination of things, I guess. You know, with every company that I worked at, you learn different things along the way.
Yeah.
But I basically just reached a pinnacle of, you know, like a ceiling where the more I did, there wasn't really going past that ceiling. So it was just to crawl back down in the basement and then break through the ceiling. That was kind of the idea. So.
Wow. Okay. That's interesting. So now when you say crawl back down in the basement, that's the hard work of going out on your own. Is that what you're
I was like, let's just throw away this nice salary that you're getting paid.
Yeah.
Comfortable, you know, it's health benefits. And let's just go rogue, I guess.
Oh my gosh. How, did you had your wife at the time? Were you guys?
Yeah. Yep. That was kind of a joint decision.
That's what I was saying.
Plan A through Z, basically. You know, initially when I started the company, I told her, you know, it's going to work out. Regardless of what I have to do, I'm willing to do it. If I have to take, you know, a second or third job, it'll be for a short term. It'll fly by and it'll work out. And unfortunately enough, you know, I've been blessed to not have to take a second or third job and really get to focus on pest control, which is awesome. So,
what was the timeline like? How long were you working with other companies? And can you give us kind of a taste of, you know, was that big corporate? Was that family owned? You know, what did that kind of look like prior to starting Habitat?
Yeah. So initially I got hired on in 2019 for a company called EcoShield. I don't know if you guys are aware of the company at all. It's like a store knocking company. I had a great time there as well too. I got into just like little management there. Worked there for about 2 or 3 years. From there, I moved on to another smaller company, family-owned company in Minnesota. Also had a great experience there. Eventually moved on to a top 100 company. And then one day just decided just to go on my own, you know. So, you know, just learned things along the way and just kind of carried that with me. So.
How long ago was that? Like, how long have you been on your own?
I started last April. So really,
wow.
We're brand new.
So this is your 1 year anniversary, like right now.
Hey.
April 1st. Yeah. April 1st was,
Congratulations.
Oh, and we didn't even bring a gift, Gabe. What are you doing?
No cake, no nothing.
Honestly, it's a good gift. And this is fine. I'll take this. Yeah. It's crazy how time flies though. You know, from the initial start of it, it's just, I had given my company a 2-week notice date for about 3 weeks just to transition over to tech, and then jumped in headfirst. And about a month into it, I was like, what did I do? You know, what did I do with my life? I had a good thing going on. So, but now looking back, I don't regret it one bit. So.
Okay, so this is an interesting place to talk then.
Yeah.
Like you're exactly 1 year. Like this is it. And for me it was a million years ago, right? It was like 16 years ago when we went on our own. So like I'm more removed, i.e. old, from when that time was. So walk me through that first month. Like, were you
Yes.
terrified? Were you excited? Were you a combination of all those? What was going on?
I mean, I feel like I do well under pressure, but
Mm.
yeah, I was scared. I just purchased a house, finally got into like a good spot in life. I just picked the hardest way. But we're in a good spot. It wasn't a bad gig at the last company I was at. I was on track to make a great salary that year as well too. So, but the first month was tough. I went out and knocked on doors myself. Now, not even with the intent of selling, just to get the exposure out there, to get the name out there as well too. Um,
Yeah.
And then by month 3, I'd say, like up until month 3, things started panning together where I actually could pay myself.
Wow.
Up until that point, I was living off savings and literally just selling things like selling my jewelry, stuff that like didn't matter to me. It's just materialistic things,
Yeah.
just for the vision and the dream of this working.
Wow. So you're out there pawning everything you own just to make it happen.
I sold a bracelet and a gold chain, which like I throw it on and look in the mirror and I'm like, I look stupid. And I just take it off anyway. So I don't really miss that. But yeah, I'd say by month 3, everything started panning out. Just
Wow.
we got the website going. We got these. We weren't even investing in marketing, but I think a lot of it was like some of it was stroke of luck of where our business is located in Ramsey, and a lot of it was just grit and just being out there and prospecting and meeting people.
Yeah.
And a lot of our businesses were based off of referrals. So that one customer would branch off to multiple businesses. So
yeah. Did you have a time frame that like if it doesn't get off the ground by 6 months, you're gonna have to do something else? Was there like a drop dead time frame that you had or
no? So the initial was like in April, I'm just spending like all the money that I had in savings, right?
Yeah.
And but I didn't really have a time frame. Yeah, it picked up pretty fast actually. So once we got into the busy season, it was like I was like, oh my gosh, I actually have work to do. And then by month 6, I was able to pay myself a comfortable salary and not dig into savings. And by December, so that was it's about 9 months into the company. That's when things got less rocky, I should say.
Yeah. Do you remember your first job, like the first job you sold and did? What was that like?
Oh man, so it was a call wasp activity, I believe. And it was like just an abandoned wasp nest. Ironically, it was from like an older company I used to work at, and this is not like me poaching them or anything.
Yeah.
They literally knocked at my neighborhood, and they weren't happy with that service, but they came and saved the day. So
wow,
yeah.
Holy cow!
I'm curious, Joseph. When you started the company, I'd assume you kind of had either an actual goal for like 1, 3, 5 years, or at least just mentally, like it would be cool if we hit this. You don't have to go into extreme detail if you don't want to, dollar value wise, but what did that look like? What you thought you were and hoped you would hit versus what that first year actually looked like?
I surpassed my goal 3 times. I had a pretty realistic goal to like right off the bat, and by month 3 we hit that goal, and I was like, it didn't make any sense to me. I was so busy teching and working and just trying to build a route where when I actually took time to actually go in the office and look at the numbers, I'm like, oh man, we did that goal. So I'd have to increase it again.
Wow.
And by December, that was like, we surpassed it like 2 times, honestly, for the goal that I initially had. 2, 3 times actually. And oddly enough, our busiest month was in October. So it's a pretty good month for us.
Yeah. Wow. Did you guys, you're in the north like we are. Did you have a big yellow jacket fall that went long?
Yeah. So again, going back to stroke of luck, we had such a mild winter here where I mean, to capitalize on time in Minnesota, it's like April through September, we'll say.
Yep.
And potentially October. But there was literally no winter here. So, that was even busier than anything. And throughout that process, the whole goal was just to see as many people as I could. get the reviews going on Google. That helped out tremendously. And then we started getting calls, without even investing in marketing, just a simple website. So
Yeah. So now today, is it still just you, or have you hired people, or how are you going there?
just myself. We're thinking about hiring. That's a tough one as well too right now.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to find the right fit and right person. I do have a couple people in mind, but ultimately enough, it's just like I want to make sure that they have security, financial security for themselves. I don't want to bring anybody on if it's going to be a detriment to their livelihood.
Yeah.
So until it gets to the point where I feel like I'm not able to handle anymore, and then I'll keep running it for a little bit by myself. So
Yeah. So right now, you're knocking doors, you're making the sales, you're doing the service, answering the phone, like the soup to nuts, the whole thing.
I'm the office lady. I am the president and also the technician. So
There you go.
we wear a lot of hats.
So if you exceed your goal 2 or 3 times this season coming up here, rolling into year 2, I mean, are you going to exceed your capacity? Are you going to be like, holy cow, I need somebody?
We're already on track to pass that right now. Fortunately enough, actually. So I'm excited. This is busy season for us now.
Yeah.
Finally, the snow is melting. We had this like weird pseudo spring a few times. Snowstorm literally like a few days ago, and now we're back at it. Now the sun's shining. So
it's crazy. Yeah,
you guys
this
are
year
crazy up north. Like we're like blue sky. Like spring is here.
Yeah. Thanks, Gabe. Thanks a lot. Yeah, they're forecasting a winter storm warning for tonight. We're supposed to get like 7 inches of snow. Yeah.
Yeah, we had that last week. That was pretty crazy. And we had snow this morning out there.
Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's probably the same cold front coming across the lakes and the Great Lakes and hitting us now. So we're a couple days behind.
Yeah, February this year was like it was super dry and sunny.
Yeah.
And that was our biggest month to history, which isn't like hard to beat because we're like a year into it. But
yeah,
it was pretty crazy actually. So
yeah, our rodent season never really ended because we never got locked in with a lot of snow this winter. So it was just like rodents all year long, which is kind of good, I guess.
Oh yeah, and then that's New York. I don't think it'll ever end, honestly.
Yeah, right. So now, do you do like mostly one-time services, mostly like quarterly or triannual? What kind of programs do you guys do?
I mean, we do all of them, but we try to go for quarterly. Quarterly seems to be our best fit for just what our initiative is.
Yeah.
But we have accounts that require weekly, depending bi-weekly. It's kind of tailor-made, but also for what we dictate, I should say. Unless it's like an audited account that dictates it for us.
Sure.
Sure. But quarterly is the route that we want to go. So
yeah. And mainly residential?
Heavy on residential, a lot of commercial though too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Now, how did you become aware of this program with Pete? And that's Pete Schopen. And
right.
Like, walk us through how you found your way into this. What happened?
I'm like in a bunch of different networking groups on Facebook. Do I check them often? No, but like I don't know. Just by the grace of God, it just like fell on my lap one day. I think it was a lot. I'm connected with Kristen Allen Pest Control in there, who's on the previous season of it, we'll say, and he made an announcement. I just reached out to him. So
wow.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Okay, so when you started to like, okay, I'm going to enter into this sort of program.
Yeah.
What were your expectations? Like, what were you hoping to get out of that?
Just to talk to the guy, honestly. I feel like he's making that was like the biggest takeaway. Like, honestly, especially when Pete and I talked, he was like, "Do you understand the premise of this?" I'm like, "No, I don't. I don't know what we're doing."
Okay.
I just wanted to be a part of it. The biggest takeaway from that was just to talk to him, get some insight in the industry. It's a name that I see periodically as well too. He's done great for himself. So I think that's out of everything that whole situation could offer, that was the biggest takeaway for sure.
Yeah. Have you implemented anything from your discussions already?
Some, yes. Yeah. I feel like it's tough though, because it's like we're at such an early stage, but he's definitely instilled a lot of things, and it gets your mind going. Whether I'm taking action on it right away, and it's like I feel guilty. I feel like I'm not doing my chores sometimes. But it's like a different way of thinking that I'm not. That honestly, it's cool on my side.
It's hard too when sometimes a lot of the wisdom of a company with 45 employees is still like applicable, but hard to implement at the solo operator level. And like I experienced that too. Sometimes we'll have conversations and I'll be like, that's a great nugget for me to log away for like 5 years from now. Like
Yeah.
I'm sure that I probably could implement that, but it's not the top. Like I have a lot of other fires I'm putting out right now, doing the stuff with Chopin.
Mhm.
You said just having him to talk to. Has there been any things you've implemented from those meetings and stuff that has been particularly noteworthy or helpful? Or
Working on stats, that's a big thing. Just
yeah,
working
right. You had
and
mentioned
trying to
stats.
be. It's a lot of like consistency. I mean, compared to like Pete and I, he's just like so organized. It's like admirable, honestly. The dude's like super organized. So that's one thing I'm trying to implement for myself. Really dialing things in because that's important, obviously. And then we're talking about different service scopes and plans and upsells and different things that could grow the company. So that's a lot of it's just conversations and it just gets your mind working. Um,
Yeah.
the part of all of this, it's just like I should probably implement more, honestly, but I think it's like my thing is I feel like I do too much sometimes, so just one step at a time. So
Yeah. I do remember one of the things that struck me the first, I don't know, 5, 10 years as you're ramping up, and even today, I think that there can be a little bit of an isolation for
Hmm.
somebody in your position where you're solo, and then even as you come along and you have employees, having a network of people that are like-minded that you can talk to is an important thing. And I think you had even mentioned before we started saying, I'd complain, but nobody would really listen. So
yeah,
you got to find those people that'll listen to that, because
yeah,
like your wife can only be a trash can for so much
That's
stress,
right.
and then
Oh
she's
my
gonna
yeah.
God.
close up shop and be like, "Don't talk to me about
I
this
have to
anymore."
catch myself. I don't try to complain and carry that stuff home anymore.
Yeah, yeah,
Doesn't make a difference sometimes. Probably makes things worse, honestly. So
for
Oh
sure.
yeah.
you have some colleagues that I'll lean on as well too. And that is important because at times it feels super lonely. I just
Yeah.
call it, just like just
Hmm.
rogue pest control, solo pest control.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, so this opportunity is awesome. It really sparks the imagination of just what I should focus on, honestly, and different things that I should have focal points for. But
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest nuance out of Pete. It's just like even him being there just for reassurance, like what's your goal? Are you going to get to that? Where were you at last month? And just putting things in focal points and almost just reiterating the fact that I'm doing something. Honestly, that's cool. Because otherwise, I would not know. I would say I think we're doing well, but to hear from someone that's been there from solo into growing a great operation and company, that's awesome. So
Yeah. Yeah. One of the things that I remember at those first several months and year, 2 years is doing really, really weird things like conducting a meeting by myself, like
yeah,
once a month, having sort of a formal, like, okay, I'm going to look at, our month end numbers. How many jobs did I do? How much did we make? How much did we spend? Kind of review the P&L, and like, it's an all company meeting because it was only me.
yeah, yeah,
But some of those things, if you develop some of those habits, they'll serve you, and they'll push you through those times when it's just you into having staff and growing, and then you already have some of those habits. Like, yep, every month I'm going to review these metrics and whatnot. But it's weird at first because you feel like you're like a kid just like pretending.
yeah.
You're like,
That's
yeah,
actually it's a genius way to think of it. I never thought of it like that.
yeah,
I'm actually going to implement a meeting now. I'm going to take your idea. So that sounds pretty cool.
yes,
And it'll be free pizza. So
free.
On the company.
yeah,
That's
I'll
what,
do
and then
that.
you gotta post something on LinkedIn that's like, yeah, see, I treated my whole team to dinner, and
Just a picture of me and a
it's
slice.
just you. It's got a slice of pizza at the end of the day. Boom, culture building. Hashtag culture building.
Yeah,
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's been huge. Andy actually really was the one that got me onto it. But doing even just once you hire your first employee, Joseph, like doing regular team meetings. I do mine over Zoom because all my guys are remote. But once I get an office space, I'll do it in an office. But we do just like meetings once a week and they're like 30 minutes on the dot. We never go over, never start late. Thanks to Andy. And that's been like one of the biggest drivers of just good, helpful communication. That I'm like, I had no idea. I went like 2 years without doing any regular meetings. We would do like a team breakfast every once in a while, you know. But then you have somebody else in the industry that's like, maybe you should do weekly meetings.
Well, that sounds like I always enjoyed it as a tech, actually, you know, and it builds good culture, camaraderie, and this is awesome. So this stuff that I'm getting from you guys as well too, it's just like it gets my brain going.
Great. All right, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in to Coast Pest Talk. Great conversation there with Joseph Nguyen with Habitat Pest Solutions in Ramsey, Minnesota. Joseph, thanks so much for joining us, brother. It was great chatting with you, and good luck in this coming year.
Thanks, guys. You as well.